We are seeing something quite concerning in medicine today. More young adults are being diagnosed with colon cancer. This is a disease we once mostly associated with older individuals. Rates of colon cancer in people under 50 have been steadily climbing. This trend has been observed for a few decades now. It is a significant public health issue that demands our urgent attention. For families and young patients, a diagnosis of colon cancer can be shocking. It disrupts lives at a time often filled with building careers and starting families. The emotional and physical toll is immense. Is it something in our environment? Is it related to our modern lifestyles? Screening guidelines traditionally focused on those aged 50 and older. However, the reality on the ground is changing. Doctors are now encountering patients in their 30s and 40s, and sometimes even in their 20s with this disease. This forces us to rethink our understanding and our approach to prevention and early detection. The central question that researchers are grappling with is why? Why are these younger bodies developing a cancer that typically takes many decades to form? Finding the answer to this question is crucial. The search for answers is a top priority for the medical community as we strive to understand this alarming trend. So, what exactly is colorectal cancer? Put simply, it is a cancer that starts in the colon or the rectum. These are parts of our digestive system, specifically the large intestine. Cancer begins when cells in these areas start to grow out of control. They can then form a tumor. If not caught early, these cancer cells can spread to other parts of the body. For many years, colorectal cancer was seen as a disease of aging. The majority of cases were diagnosed in people over the age of 60 or 70. This is why screening tests, like colonoscopies, were typically recommended to begin at age 50, and more recently, at age 45 for average-risk individuals. However, the increasing number of cases in young adults challenges this traditional view. When a 30-year-old is diagnosed, the timeline is clearly different. It is important for everyone, regardless of age, to be aware of this disease. The old notion that I'm too young for colon cancer is unfortunately becoming less and less true for a growing number of individuals. In the quest to understand why more young people are getting colon cancer, scientists are exploring many avenues. One surprising area involves a common bacterium called E. coli. Most of us have E. coli in our intestines, usually harmless. However, some strains can be harmful. They produce a toxin called Colibactin. This toxin is linked to colorectal cancer. Identifying and targeting these strains could reduce cancer risk. Let's delve deeper into how this toxin, Colibactin, actually works. Colibactin is a genotoxin. This means it is a substance that damages DNA. Our DNA is like the instruction manual for every cell in our body. It tells our cells how to grow, how to function, and when to die. When DNA gets damaged, these instructions can get scrambled. This can lead to cells behaving abnormally, such as growing and dividing uncontrollably, which is the hallmark of cancer. The specific way Colibactin damages DNA is quite unique. It creates certain types of chemical bonds known as alkylation on the DNA molecule. These alterations can cause breaks in the DNA strands or cause parts of the DNA to stick together incorrectly. This damage, if not repaired perfectly by the cell's natural repair mechanisms, can lead to permanent changes called mutations. These mutations can accumulate over time, disrupting important genes that control cell growth and division. This process can take years, but if the DNA damage starts early in life and is persistent, the journey to cancer could be significantly shortened, potentially explaining early-onset cases. Section 5. The Telltale Signs. Colibactin's fingerprint in young patients. Recent groundbreaking studies have provided compelling evidence linking Colibactin to colon cancer in humans. Researchers analyzed the DNA from tumors of colorectal cancer patients. They were specifically looking for the unique mutational signature that Colibactin is known to cause. What they found was striking. A significant number of tumors, particularly from younger patients diagnosed with early-onset colorectal cancer, showed this distinct Colibactin fingerprint. This was a major breakthrough. The presence of this Colibactin signature in the tumor DNA strongly suggests that these specific E. coli strains were present in the patient's gut. It implies that the toxin produced by these bacteria contributed directly to the genetic mutations that drove the cancer. For young patients, this finding is particularly important. It offers a plausible biological mechanism for why they might develop colon cancer at an unusually early age, sometimes without the traditional risk factors we associate with older patients. One key study, published in a leading scientific journal, compared tumor samples from different age groups. The researchers discovered that the Colibactin mutational signature was more common in tumors from individuals diagnosed before the age of 50. This correlation strengthens the hypothesis that Colibactin exposure might be a key factor in the alarming rise of early-onset colorectal cancer. Section 6: Early exposure in modern life. Why now? A critical question arises from these findings. How and when are people, especially young individuals, getting exposed to these Colibactin-producing E. coli strains? Exposure could potentially happen very early in life. Infants, for example, acquire their gut microbiome from their mother and their environment shortly after birth. If the mother carries these specific E. coli strains, they could be passed on to the baby. This early colonization could mean long-term exposure to Colibactin from a very young age. Beyond early life acquisition, modern lifestyle factors might also be playing a significant role in this story. Our diets have changed dramatically over the past few decades. Many people now consume more processed foods, red meat, and less fiber. These dietary patterns can influence the composition of our gut microbiome. They might create an environment where harmful bacteria, like Colibactin-producing E. coli, can thrive and outcompete beneficial bacteria. The widespread use of antibiotics is another factor to consider. While antibiotics are crucial for treating bacterial infections, they can also disrupt the delicate balance of our gut flora. Section 7: Looking ahead. Better detection and prevention. The discovery of Colibactin's role in early-onset colon cancer is not just bad news, it also points towards new hope. This knowledge is fueling exciting research into better ways to detect and prevent the disease. One major area of focus is developing new screening tools. Imagine if we could easily test for the presence of Colibactin-producing E. coli in a person's gut. This could identify individuals at higher risk long before cancer even begins to develop. Another approach could be to screen for the Colibactin DNA damage signature itself. Perhaps a less invasive test than a full colonoscopy could detect these early molecular changes in cells shed in the stool. Early detection is always critical in cancer treatment, and finding ways to identify at-risk young adults sooner could save many lives and improve outcomes significantly. Beyond detection, researchers are also exploring new prevention strategies. If specific bacteria are part of the problem, could specific good bacteria or probiotics be part of the solution? Scientists are investigating whether certain probiotics could help to reduce the levels of Colibactin-producing E. coli or protect the gut lining. Section 8: Taking control. Simple steps for a healthier gut. While research continues to uncover the complex causes of early-onset colon cancer, there are practical steps we can all take today to support our gut health and potentially reduce our risk. Diet plays a hugely important role. Eating a diet rich in fiber from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains is beneficial. Fiber helps to keep your digestive system moving. It also feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which can help to keep harmful bacteria in check. This creates a healthier environment overall. Reducing the consumption of processed meats like sausages and bacon, and limiting red meat intake is also widely recommended. Studies have linked high consumption of these foods to an increased risk of colorectal cancer. Instead, focus on lean proteins such as fish and poultry, or plant-based proteins like beans and lentils. Drinking plenty of water is also important for digestive health. Regular physical activity is another cornerstone of a healthy lifestyle that can lower cancer risk. Exercise helps maintain a healthy weight, reduces inflammation, and can improve an individual's immune function. Section 9: Your health, your future. Staying informed and proactive. The rise of colon cancer in young adults is indeed an alarming trend. However, knowledge is power. Understanding the potential risks, including new factors like Colibactin-producing E. coli, empowers us to take action. It is important to stay informed about the latest research and health recommendations. Science is constantly evolving, and what we learn today can help us make better choices for our health tomorrow. Pay attention to reliable sources of health information. Adopting a healthier lifestyle, as we have discussed, is one of the most effective ways to reduce your risk of many diseases, including colon cancer. Eating a balanced diet, exercising regularly, maintaining a healthy weight, and avoiding tobacco are not just general health tips. They are concrete actions that can make a real difference to your long-term well-being. It is also vital to be aware of your own body and to listen to it. If you experience any persistent symptoms that worry you, such as changes in bowel habits, rectal bleeding, or unexplained abdominal pain, please do not ignore them. Early detection significantly improves the chances of successful treatment for colon cancer.